Okay, try this again. All right, so we learned something today. Found out that the internet cuts off when somebody uses the microwave. So that's what's going on. Let me find my pencil now. My pencil. Welcome back, everybody. So yes, turns out microwaves interfere with Wi-Fi. So don't ever, if you're using Wi-Fi, don't turn on the microwave. Now you know. So I was in the middle of a nice Iron Fist drawing. We're going to continue with that. Get my, so I got my basic pose. Not sure when exactly this thing cut out, but we got our basic drawing, our pencil pose. And welcome everybody. Bat Grandpa, Dale Hiya, Dale. Uh, Jerry Espresso, Paulie, Hiya, Paulie. All right, people are showing up. Thank you for sticking around. Not not in a good mood now. All right, I'll be okay in a minute. Let's get cranky. Get this wire out of my face. There we go. Iron Fist. Now I figure out the costume. So as I was saying before we got cut off, everything is made of cylinders, tubes, cubes, and spheres. So first I design everything, and that's a great way to work out the perspective, is by just treating things as tubes, cubes, and spheres. Then you can figure it out where everything goes. Just roughing it in. And there's his foot. And for those of you who are just tuning in, this is a request for a drawing of Iron Fist, the Marvel superhero. And here we go. I'm looking at some reference drawings to get the costume details right, because I've never drawn Iron Fist. So the first thing I did was Google Iron Fist. Let's see. All right, that's hold on. It's working. And we are back. Rosa joined. Okay, good. Just checking my comments. If anybody has any questions or comments, as usual, feel free to. And you know what I forgot to do? We forgot to put stuff in the store like a genius. That's what happens when you log off and log back on. Let me just take a second and inventory. Here we go. And I'm just going to bulk add everything to save time. So I don't know what's going to pop up in the store. Add to show. All right, so 20 items got to add to the show. Add to 3 shows. So now stuff should show up in the store. We can have our auctions and all that good stuff. I'll close this window. Close that window. Okay, now we're back to drawing. And I'm looking. And so now I'm happy with the skeleton, basic shapes. See, I exaggerate the QB and 2B-ness of stuff so that I can see it, so that I can imagine the perspective in a plausible, realistic way, and then it gives things a look of solidity. I got an eraser. I like to clean up my pencil drawings while I do them because I sometimes so much pencil goes down. I make so many decisions that then I can't see what the hell I was originally drawing. So, tube, 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 tube. There's a tube. Shape, shape, shape. There's his head again. I'd like to tilt his head down a little more. Give it more drama. Ear. Did you Google the John Byrne Iron Fist? I just Googled the phrase Iron Fist, and a bunch of faces showed up, a bunch of characters showed up. And I'm just looking for the costume. And it looks like the last time I read Iron Fist was when Denny O'Neil and I believe Dennis Cowan were doing it. When he was hanging out with Power Man and Iron Fist. That was back in the 80s. So that's the costume I'm doing because that's the one I'm most familiar with. I'm not sure if he's changed his costume since then. But, you know, they've all got that plunging neckline like Plastic Man. I don't know what that's about. It's just something superheroes like, I guess. Big shoulders. Quit. All right, I've done enough penciling. Basically all I do with the penciling is try to figure out a general plan. I don't really do finished pencils because I do most of the work in the ink. Open up this bottle of ink. All right, good. Still working. To show off the dragon tattoo. Yes, that is right. You're right. It does show off the dragon tattoo. All right. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, I'm going to use... The other reference drawing I have is a picture of Jackie Chan. It's a very iconic kung fu pose that he does in this publicity photo that they've used this photo a lot. And he's got that foot up there, so that was the... Whenever I do like a martial arts or a sports thing, I try to really get you want the form to be right, because there's going to be some kung fu guy out there who's looking at the thing and say, that's not how you do kung fu. Or, you know, I'm working on a book called Deathcathlon, which is about sports. And, you know, if a guy's throwing a javelin, you want to make sure that real javelin throwers aren't going to get disappointed by the story because you didn't do your research. I have an uncle who's very much into trains, and every time I do a comic book that's got a train in it, he has to tell me what's wrong with the train. All right, let's see. Okay. The 70s were a hell of a drug. It's a funny joke. All right. I'm going to start with I like to start with the things that are hardest to do. Like the hands. Hands are pretty complicated. So I'm going to get that out of the way. So I don't have to worry about it. There's a great book called Eat That Frog. I believe it's by Brian Tracy. Don't hold me to that, but I think Brian Tracy wrote it, and the concept is if you have the kind of a life or job where you know for some reason you're going to have to eat a frog, and you don't want to eat a frog, but you know you're going to have to do it because whatever, your doctor told you to do it or whatever, you might as well just start your day and do it right away, because otherwise if you put it off, you're going to spend the whole day worrying about eating a frog. But if you just get it over with when you wake up, then you don't have to. It's over. It's done. So you should do the shitty stuff you don't want to do right away. So I'm doing my hands. Get them out of the way. Okay. See that? I got the pose wrong right there. Right? His hand is facing wrong. So I'm going to flip his hand around. I originally had his hand like this, and now it's going to be with his back to you, but now it's going to be with his front to you. And okay. So far, I always worry a little bit when I'm doing these things live, because I don't want to make a mistake in front of everybody. And then if I do make a mistake, I don't want to waste people's time by fixing it on camera, so I just gotta pretend I didn't make a mistake. All right, this is his shoulder. He should have a nice big shoulder. Tough guy. Clavicle there. The other shoulder is there. Bicep. Okay. Right, he got the tattoo. What kind of? He got weird shoes. He does not have normal shoes. Right? He's got like ballet slippers, if I remember, like no heels. Let me double check that. I was correct. He's got little kung fu slippers. Show him those. No heels. Forced perspective is very challenging. You don't want the guy to look like he's got a short leg. Here we go. Like I said, I stole this pose from a Jackie Chan thing, but Jackie Chan was not wearing a skin-tight leotard. So now we're looking at some guy's crotch, and he's going to have skin-tight outfit. So, oh yeah, look at that. I'm looking at a drawing right here where somebody did the same pose. They must have seen the Jackie Chan poster. All right. He's got a weird belt. Oh, of course, he's got one of those kung fu belts. The yellow belt. And right now, just trying to figure out where things go. Just trying to get the basic structure before I put the fun shading and stuff on there. If you got no structure, you got. Oh, look at that! I got to put the collar. Yeah, if you got bad structure, you can't save it. Okay, he's got a wacky mask. And up to chin. And, oh, he's got a mask. So you can't see his nose. His mask covers up his nose. Get this kind of. Oh, sometimes he's got hair. I'm not giving him hair. That mask is weird. Again, just thinking. Still thinking. Still trying to figure out where things go. Does he have ears? Let's find out. No, he does not have ears. His ears are covered up. Which is always a smart thing to do when you're fighting crime and people are attacking you, is cover up your senses. Did the guy who designed Deadman design this costume? It's the same costume. How did these guys? Oh, and then he's got this. That makes no sense. He's got this high back, but then he's got like weird things coming out, like I don't even know what you'd call it, like pies coming off his head. Which I'm not really sure where they would go if he's got a big thing behind him. Oh, and he's got this thing. He's got these kind of weird things on his belt. Okay. This is always a tricky way to do a foot. It's a weird foreshortened thing. Yeah, this angle on a foot is always challenging. For me. Other people might have an easier time with it. Again, he's got this slippers. He does not have a boot. All right. I'll do a little more work on that later. I'll figure that foot out. All right. He's got these pants. Got the high with the capri pants. Here he goes. And mouth. Nice. I'm one of those people who tends to make the face that he's drawing. If the guy's frowning, I sit there, frown on my face, looking like a goofball. Trying to figure out the perspective on these eyes. Oh, he got many different kinds of eyes depending on the costume. Yeah, I'm gonna give him these weird Spider-Man-y looking eyes. I kind of like that. Actually, he looks like Zorro, right? Zorro's got this thing on his head. No logic to this scarf of his. Sorry, trying to figure this. I also don't want it to look like he's got a tail. Where is it? Oh, he's got glowing hands. That's the power fist, the iron fist. Start giving him a little more definition. Muscle him up a little. Give him some cuts. Nice. Okay. We are going to put a lot of black in that area because I do not know what the hell goes on there. I feel like figuring it out. I guess I should put that stupid dragon. All right. Let me think about it. Get a good photo of the dragon. There it is. S. Okay. It's like a Batman dragon almost. Can't see that head. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like that. Like that. Like that. made his belt too big. You want to show off the six pack? This guy's got this stupid low cut neck. I mean, wonderful low cut neckline. You know, I never noticed how silly his costume was because he was always standing next to Power Man, who wears a chain belt and a tiara, and also a similar plunging neckline. So, very good. So now, I'm going to draw. Let's see if I can find paper towel. I cannot. Here we go. This is the trick to erase without smearing. Let's see where the. Oh, yeah, there's some ink there. That. There. Okay, here we go. Regulars to the show know that I have been known to smear the ink at this point. Go along with the grain. And the reason I like to erase after I've done the line work is because when I do the brush work goes down very thin, and then very often it comes up when you try to erase it. So the line, the pen work doesn't really get picked up by the eraser, but the brush work I find, because I'm working on very slick Bristol paper. It's the, what is it called? Smooth Bristol. They make two different kinds. They make rough Bristol and smooth Bristol. Can't remember what they call it. Kid finish or something. And this is what they had at Michael's, where I get all my stuff. All right, that looks good. Now, brushes. Drawing through a share link by Skinnerbox. Okay, very good. I always liked the love story between Iron Fist and Misty Knight when they did that. Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that. I think that was Denny O'Neil wrote that. Best business advice I ever heard was get the stuff you hate done first. Why end the day on a crappy note? Very good. Exactly. You aren't getting some of these. Okay, I'm all caught up on my comments. Sometimes I try to keep up on the comments, but I get distracted by my drawings. Don't ever lick your pen, but I do it because what's the point? We're going to find a nice, here we go. There's a brush. I just came across my favorite brush. I get my brushes at Five Below because I'm a cheapskate. And also because I don't like to clean my art supplies. So if you ruin a brush that costs you 50 cents, who cares? But if you ruin a brush that costs you $20, you're an idiot. So I buy these cheap brushes. And then I found today when I was getting set up, Five Below, they only made these kind of brushes once that I could find. These sparkly, I like the sparkly thing. It's got glitter inside. And they only did that once, like a year ago. So I've been holding on to this one even though it's losing its point. Because I just really like the glitter. So now I'm going to find out which point is less terrible. Like I say, I tend to just beat the crap out of these brushes. This one looks point here. Oh well, I could not use the glitter then. Here we go. Now here's the fun part. Putting the shading on. First thing we do is figure out where's the light source. So, the way I decide where the light source is, two things. One is, what's the mood? So if it's a dramatic mood, you might want it to be like a darker, more shadowy thing, but this is like a, it's just a pose, it's a pin-up pose, so it doesn't have to have moody lighting if I don't want. So the second way I choose my lighting is I look at the part of the drawing I screwed up the most, and then I'll just put that in shadow. So, like I say, I know that I don't like any of this area here because I don't know what the hell's going on there. And I don't feel like figuring it out, so I'll just put like black there. So then that would figure out that then that means the light source is up there somewhere, which is plausible, makes a lot of sense. So we'll continue with that train of thought. Black, black, black. This is a terrible brush. Another thing, I kind of like terrible brushes or terrible art supplies because they make a lot of natural mistakes. In this, digital age, so many things just look very slick and done and polished. It's no longer impressive to do something that's completely slick and polished because everybody can do something slick and polished. So it's it's less impressive. So now I like it when things drip or smear or mistake gets made or something like that because it looks more human. Looks Everybody knows AI didn't do it. Very confused about this light source. I have to look how bad this brush is. Can you see if you can see the hairs? That is terrible. The hairs are just. I've got to have a better brush. I gotta have some point here. Hold on. Let's try that one. All right. I said I don't like cleaning my brush. Clean a little. I use a bottle of Coca-Cola, an empty bottle. The reason I use that is because I can put the cap on. Did that run already? No, it did not run already. I'm still coloring it. I'm still drawing it. So I'll run it when we're done. Seen better days. Haven't we all? All right, here it is. Okay. So yeah, the reason I use this bottle is because then if I kick the bottle open over the cap, I spill a lot of things. I'm always knocking over my ink and knocking over my water and things like that. So try to keep the cap on everything when possible. Okay, here's some nice black. Where do I want the black? That's better. Oh, this is a much better brush. One of the things I like about the Five Below brushes is that they do have a good snap to them. I think they're not real animal hair. They're like some kind of nylon or something, plastic. So it makes the brushes very snappy. And like I said, they're super cheap. I was telling my friend Buzz how much I love these brushes, and he was like, "Well, how long do they last?" I said, "I don't care how long they last. They're 50 cents. Not even 50 cents. They come in a box. You get like 20 of them for 55 bucks. So who cares if they don't last?" I know I said I like mistakes, but sometimes my hand goes the wrong place. I don't like that. I accidentally crossed the line here. Don't like that. Oh. Generally, if I make a mistake, I try to turn it into a shadow if possible. You can usually justify any shadow. thinking. All right. Taking a look at that crazy collar. That is a nuts collar. I wonder where they got that from. You see, Deadman has the same outfit. I don't know who designed Deadman. I think it might have been Neal Adams. It's starting to shape up. There's always a point about 3/4 of the way through where I have no idea what's going on. I can't figure out what the hell I'm doing, and it looks terrible. And then I try not to give up. If you can just get past the part where you want to give up, then it turns back into being a decent drawing. Now we're starting to shadow it up a little. I guess it's figure out the light source. If the light source is the upper right, and the shadows all fall to the bottom left. So its arm would cast a shadow that was kind of like that. It's kind of funky. It's also got to sell the perspective. I decided I do not need reflected light. It's not really a point to that. Yeah, I'm just gonna black all that in. This whole area makes no damn sense. Even though I took it from a photo, it makes no damn sense. One of those rules that a lot of artists like to use. It's not a hard and fast rule, but you want to add depth to things. The things that are closer to the camera have a thick outline, and the things that are farther from the camera have a thin outline, and then that gives it kind of a 3D look. That's one way to do it. Or one thing that I like to do is that the things that are closer to camera are light, and the things away from the camera are dark, or vice versa. All right, that was. Yeah. This is the fun part. The more I look at something, the more I realize I need less. I thought I need more detail here, but a strong silhouette makes things pop a lot better. So very often, give him a little shadow there. And just trying to make everything look a little rounder, more three-dimensional. And I have a bad habit of just putting in lots of. You should always simplify. Like there's no reason to have all this reflected light. Doesn't help. Things should be able to read from a distance or from a smaller size. So, yeah, it's starting to shape up. Carmine Infantino and Arnold Drake created Deadman. So I guess it's a Carmine costume. Interesting. I don't know who designed Iron Fist, but Maybe it was Carmine. This foot. Devil in perspective. All right. There's going to be a little white out there. Maybe. Just trying to make it rounder. Okay, this. Another thing I enjoy is dry brush. When the brush starts to run out of ink, that's when I put in the fun tones. Just head cast a shadow. And avoiding figuring out the shoulder. There. Put a little. And light source, and that means that all this goes into shadow. Okay. Iron Fist was 1974, so dead in the middle of disco. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember how a lot of those guys dressed. Remember how Stan looked in the 70s? Those crazy sunglasses. And he had the neck, the open shirt. Everybody had the open shirt. See, I keep wanting to like preserve details. Oh, I gotta show that rib cage, but it wouldn't show. There's got to be a shadow. It's got to sell the perspective. Janice, make that look a little more solid. There. 8, 8.5 by 8. Yeah, this is 8.5 by 11. Yes. Yeah. I also have larger paper if anybody wants larger paper. But the idea was that the smaller drawings are supposed to go faster, but they do not when I'm having technical difficulties. Yeah, just I always forget that the microwave interferes with the Wi-Fi. There we go. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. And he should be casting shadow on these if they're behind him. Beef up that outline. Now, I want bolder outlines all around for some reason. I don't know why. Today I want bold outlines. Mm-hmm. my last pass on this, then I'll start putting on the whiteout. Yeah. I don't want to overwork it. There's always that temptation to overwork it. I don't know what that's about. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Paul. It's he says it looks great. Thank you, Paulie. Yeah, part of it's knowing when to quit. Because if you just keep adding details, then it just turns into a big gray mess. And the temptation is, the problem with that is that even though it's not great, the temptation is to do it because there are people who are impressed by, well, it's not a very good drawing, but it sure has a lot of detail on it. He must have put a lot of work into it. You know, people treat it like, you're being paid by the hour or something. It doesn't matter if you put more details in it if it looks like crap. Or if it gets harder to read. For me, it's clarity. I'm trying to find my white paint right now. Give me a second. Open a new one. There they are. They're paint pens. They're full of paint. White paint. What are they called? Artistro. I always like to tell people because people ask. Artistro. And it's full of paint. So you got to shake it up to mix it up. It's like, when you have a can of spray paint where you have to shake it up at the ball in the bottle because the paint's got to mix up. So there we go. I got 2 of them just in case one of them doesn't work. We won't be staring at a blank screen while I place it. Don't forget the Iron Fist needs to smoke a little. Oh, the fist. Okay. I was going to give him a cigarette. Okay, I'll go put some smoke on his Iron Fist. That's a great idea. Right now. Putting definition and my pen's a little goopy. Get the goop off. That takes a second for these things to start flowing. There we go. It's this weird foreshortened foot. It works. I have trouble doing them. But that was what was in the Jackie Chan photo that I copied, so. Like I say, I want this to be a real, legit Kung Fu pose. Not a fake Kung Fu pose. I'm a big fan of research. I think you should do research for everything you draw. If you're drawing a boat, find a damn picture of a boat. Don't try to make up a boat. Even if it's a fantasy boat, I think you should get a picture of a real boat and then change it into, a fantasy type boat. Now just clean it up a little. Looking for mistakes and areas that could be less confusing. Okay, I think we need to silhouette this dragon a little better. So I'm not going to have this leg was looking a little thin there. He was looking a little scrawny. This is the funny thing, when you use a pose from a photograph, sometimes it looks right in the photograph, but doesn't look right. I want his hand touching his leg. It should be like in front. So I gotta push the perspective a little more. Okay. All right. I'm almost done. Now I'm just nitpicking it to death. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. And just trying to make it a little easier to read. Rib cage. All right, take one more look. Going back in a little and replace some things that I covered up. I really am overdoing this, but I'm having fun. Okay, I think I'm done. I think that's it. All right. I'm going to sign it, and then we'll run it. So, Kyle. For a minute, I doubted whether it was 2025 or not. Crap on my. As long as you're enjoying it, I am enjoying myself. I like talking to you guys. It's fun getting out. The foot is coming right off the page. Thank you. All right. Oh, the smoking iron fist. We got to put the smoke on his fist. You're right. Let's do that. Okay, let me find out which fist is the smoky fist. Iron fist. He looks like he has two smoking fists in this drawing. Oh, this is sometimes is. Oh, this is annoying. Okay, I'm gonna. It's the right fist. On the TV show, it's the right fist. In the drawing I'm looking at, I think some of these drawings got reversed or something. Okay, I think it's the right fist. All right, we're gonna give him. That's the right fist. There we go. Power. Energy things coming off its hand. Double check that energy. Yeah, kind of looks like flames. Okay. That works. I believe it. All right. Am I done? Does that look good? Should I run it? I'm going to run it. Figure out how this works. Here we go. We're doing it. I believe this is the button to push. I'm running it. Here we go. Start auction. We shall see what happens. Start auction. All right. Meanwhile, as usual, I'm going to look at this thing and see if there's more mistakes that I'm missing while the clock ticks. All right. Hold on. Ink. How are we doing on time? 11, 10, 9. Okay. I think it's going. Good. Let me get that last missing finger. How did we do? 4. And there it goes. It went. Thank you, Whatnut Chuck. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to do the thing I always forget to do, which is unpin products. And now I push, unpin. And we're still on. Yes. All right, now, let's see. Hi, Kyle. I saw Trish Mulvihill at the Baltimore Con, and she said that she was the second best artist at her school. And the best was Kyle Baker. That's funny. I like her. Yeah, I haven't seen her in a while, but yeah, we used to all hang out. A bunch of fun people. Let's see. Marlboro Man. That's funny. All right. Hold on. Foot's coming right up there. I'm just reading the comments. Foot's coming right up. Riddler. Oh, I kind of like that idea, Riddler. Yeah, let's go with a Riddler. All right, I'm going to put this over here. All right, now, which Riddler shall I draw? There's so many Riddlers. Let me take a look. Google Riddler. Okay. Oh, Jim Carrey. I liked Jim Carrey as a Riddler. I thought he was good. All right. All right. Just finding the best costume, the one that I like. They all seem to be about the same. He's got a bowler hat. I like the bowler hat and the question marks. That's what I'm going to go. I'm going to take this here. Okay. Where's my pencil? There's my pencil. With cane and bowl cap. I agree. I agree. That is what we're doing. I'll use the side of the paper. I didn't clean my white pen on, paint pen. Let me think. Think of a fun pose, that's all. Oh, that's a nice idea. Okay, yeah, I think I got. Okay, I think I got one. First, I do the skeleton. Line of action, pose, cane, hat. I was gonna try and, since he's got a cane and a hat, a bowler hat, I was gonna give him a Bob Fosse type of pose. Since he's dressed like Bob Fosse. First, just trying to figure it out. I don't want to commit to. One of the things to think about when drawing is where is the weight. That's how you make things look realistic, or figures look. You're always leaning or supporting your weight one way or the other. You're always constantly balancing yourself. So if for example, the guy is holding onto a cane, then he would be leaning on the cane. His weight is on the cane. His shoulder would be higher. So this shoulder would be lower, and he would probably balance himself with this leg, the opposite leg. If this is the left hand, and his right leg would provide a counterbalance. So putting all the weight on that leg and this arm, and then these two limbs will have no weight, and that theoretically should give it a little more, give it some life. One of the things I try to think about when I draw these things is why are the body parts where they are? Like if you're everywhere you put your body part, it's like a body language. If I'm holding on to something, or if I'm holding a pencil, if I'm leaning on a thing, and your attitude and stuff. So you got to think about, like, what kind of attitude does this guy have? Is it a fun attitude because he's the Riddler, so he's kind of playful? So you think of that, then you think, well, he's got a cane, and so he should use the cane. And if he's leaning on the cane, then people just shouldn't be standing around posing like a model sheet. I mean, people do it all the time, but it just makes it look like it's alive. My goal with most of these things is to make it look like they're not drawings, that that there's a personality, if that makes sense. And I think that's the harder part. I'm looking at his hair now. Okay. Kind of a funny ear. So far, so good. And just like little things, I'm gonna like how is he gonna hold on to the hat? Is he gripping the hat, or is he lightly touching the hat? All these things tell you something about everything tells you something about a character. When you see an actual person and you're talking to them, you're constantly sizing them up, and like I saw an old man today, and you can tell the guy's an old man because of the way he moves. Not, even if you couldn't see his face, you just saw a silhouette, you would know he was an old man because he was supporting his weight in a certain way, looking at certain things in a certain, Try and get as much character into. You shouldn't have everybody walking and working and acting the same. One of my problems with the old Bruce Timm Justice League show, it was animated in Korea, and everybody had the exact same walk. They all had the same body, and they all had the same walk, and it goes faster that way. But it was, in my opinion, a missed opportunity. Because the way somebody walks, again, when you see an actor, he thinks about, how am I going to walk, and how am I going to hold this knife, and what would I wear? There's a reason this guy's wearing a crazy outfit, a bowler hat, and it tells you something about the guy. It's not a normal way to dress. Anyway, let's see. It's checking in on I loved Frank Gorshin as Riddler on the TV show, especially his laugh. Yes, I did. I actually met Frank Gorshin and Adam West in Argentina. Danny O'Neill and I did a comic convention with them, and Frank Gorshin was really nice. I was less impressed with his friend, Batman, but Gorshin was a very nice fella. Here we go. Sorry, I'm looking at these lapels. He does not wear. Whenever I draw the Joker, I give him a double-breasted suit, but the Riddler does not seem to wear a double-breasted suit or a vest. There we go. Again, just trying to figure out structure. So there's lots of lines that are going to disappear. Thinking. Okay. And as I always say, everything is made of cubes, tubes, and spheres, so I'm just now breaking that. Now that I've got my nice pose, I'm just structuring it a little more tightly. All right. So yeah, the weight is here. So rib cage, shoulder is up. This pelvis will tilt this way because. Okay, and now decide how long will his pants? Where will the cuff be? Let's take a look. All right, he's got green socks. That might be something. All right. Okay, so I got it about right. Seems good to go with the skinny leg too. Not a boot cut man. All right. Trying to decide who I want open or closed. Jacket. He seems to keep his no. Well, sometimes he's got his jacket buttoned, sometimes he doesn't. I'm gonna try and button it and see if it looks good, and if it doesn't, I'll button it. Okay, I'm looking. He's got a question mark on his hat. Mask. Hands. Pinky. Oh, this is terrible. Yeah. All right. First step is done. The pencils have been figured out. So we got a pose. I'm happy. Take a little bit of this pencil off. It's too much. Lighten it up a little so I can still see the pencil, but not so much that I get lost. This gets so messy. All right. Thinking, where do I start? I start with the head. Move forward. All right. I'm afraid to get started. It's terrible. Hold on. I'll start with the chin. Start with the chin. He that's one of those. Okay, it's funny about DC Comics. Some masks you can see the guy's eyeballs, and then other guys you can't see their eyeballs. There's no rhyme or reason. Apparently, the Riddler you can see his eyeballs. Okay. I'm gonna give him a big pointy chin. Like a, okay. one of the most common mistakes that people who draw guys wearing hats make, and I do the same thing, is you don't want to make the hat smaller than the head. you should It should fit on top of the guy's head. This hat was slightly smaller, but I'll turn it into a shadow. Okay, now put this. He's got that. All right, that is not a great question mark. I will fix it later. Okay, next is the hand. Okay. Get the hands out of the way. I'm getting the hands and the heads out of the way just because, like I say, they're the hardest part for me. So I just get it done. It's also because it's the part that people are going to be looking at. Like if I get the pocket square wrong, nobody's going to notice. But people tend to look at a character's eyes and their hands. I do have a ruler. Should I do it now? Just get all the egregious stuff out of the way. Get the hand out of the way. The ruler. These are also the parts that have the highest potential for disaster. So it'd be worse if you did the entire drawing and then pulled out the ruler and ruined the entire thing and had to start over. This way, if I screw up the hand, I could start over without much regret. Okay, I'm gonna do the shoe also. What the hell? Just want to figure out where the jacket lands. It's a terrible way to work. I'm just making it up as I go along. Can he do it? Putting slight perspective on this foot. Can he do it? Yeah, I believe it. What's next? Shoulder. Doing the shoulder now just because it's where the weight is. That's my next big concern. I'm just like solving problems one at a time. So the new problem is the weight. Can we make this look like he is leaning on? Okay. I look at things. Sometimes you can see a mistake from a different angle. You can realize, hey, that doesn't really match up. elbow. It's very much like a connect the dots thing. I start with the extremes and then connect them. So it's okay. The hand is here and the elbow's here. Then that must be where that goes. Again, trying to think of weight. So the gravity would be kind of pulling the sleeve down a little. And if its weight is on the shoulder, then it would pull the fabric a little. That should give it a little bit more something or other. I don't know about these lapels. Again, I'm just really trying to make it feel like he's leaning. So I'm trying to figure out the drapery. Again, it would all be pulling from here. So theoretically, if the lines point in that direction, it should sell it. All right. I think that's as good as it's going to get. Sorry, I'm looking at the expression now. I'm trying to figure it out. He should be sort of, again, I'm very big into character. Like, people should be acting in character. They should, so he should be like sort of manic. He's got, well, you've seen the show. He's, you know, a little open. That's more fun. Here, kind of a little bit of a sneer. That seems like he's in character. Ideally, you should be able to look at these characters, and even if you didn't know who the character was, you'd be able to understand something about them by the body language or the clothing or something. Almost ready. First, we'll figure out the structure, then start putting in the fun stuff. Oh, I got to start putting in the question marks. Forgot that part. Okay. Let's throw some question marks in. Checking the costume. Oh, sometimes he doesn't wear question marks. But I like question marks. Look at that. Sometimes he doesn't have them. I guess they got rid of them. They get rid of everything fun at DC. I don't know if I tell the story. I talked to Brian Azzarello. He was doing Aquaman. I don't know if he ended up doing it, but he was complaining because I said, "Oh, are you going to put the seahorse?" And he said, "No, they won't let me do the seahorse because they say it's silly." So I put the seahorse in my story. So if some guys don't give them the question marks, but I like the question marks. I don't know if I'm gonna do too many of them. Ah, just kind of dummying them in. I'll fix them later. They're gonna be better. Again, part of the like, I'm not killing myself right now looking at working on the question marks because half of this is gonna be in shadow, and I'll end up erasing half of what I've done anyway. So I just wanted to get a basic idea of where these things should be going. Like the old school version, yes. Now I'm getting silly. Ooh. Okay. Now that part's done. Now I'm going to my pen on the wall. I can't find my paper towel, but I have these spongy walls for soundproofing. So I just cleaned my brush on the spongy walls, which happen to be black, so nobody's ever gonna know. Let's see. Looking for reflections before I Again, I don't want to smear the ink when I erase this, which I'm about to do. Okay. Here we go. Get the face. Someday I'll figure out how to erase this thing without it shaking the camera and everything. Not today. There you go. Aquaman Seahorse is badass. Exactly. Yeah. While we're at it, like, I'm the guy that doesn't like Dark Knight, the movie, because the Joker robs a bank by putting on a mask and carrying a machine gun, which is how everybody robs a bank. I think the Joker needs to have like balloons full of gas or squirting flour or, you know what I'm saying. I like when the Penguin has umbrellas and robotic penguins, and they always want to get rid of the fun shit. It needs to be chaos. It needs to be the Joker. He has to be silly. And how come he never in the movies? How come he never ever had that poison that makes you smile? I think that's a great gimmick. The poison that makes you smile. That's his best thing. I think nobody else does that. It's his thing. He puts a Z on you. Dracula puts two holes in you. The Joker makes you smile. That's the wrong brush. This is the brush. Sorry, I'm trying to find a brush. After my rant about how I love shitty brushes, they're all too bad today. Look at them. It's terrible. looking for a bigger brush. Fills up more space. Hold on. All right, I'm just going with this one. First, he's wearing a black shirt. Start with that. This really is the worst brush ever. Right, that's not good. That is a terrible, terrible brush. I'm going to try and find another brush that's terrible. This one might work better. As usual, if anybody has any questions, feel free. I like questions. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but I learned how to draw by standing next to Jack Abel's drawing table for 8 hours a day for a year. I just made a nuisance of myself. I would ask him, why are you doing that? What's that thing for? What's that brush for? Why are you putting it in the ink that way? He would tell me. Thanks, everybody, for sure. I'm noticing a lot of people are joining, so thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm drawing a picture of the Riddler for all the newcomers. So, all right. Now I'm gonna pick a light source. I am picking the upper right. So when the light source is in the upper right, the shadows are on the opposite side. So you just color the right side of everything black, and you're halfway home. That's what I was saying before about not getting too busted up about the quotation mark, the question marks, because I'm gonna probably paint most of them black anyway, with big shadows over everything so that it pops a little better. I'm trying to figure out now what to do about his mask. I do not know. I'll stall. Okay, the nose definitely should have a shadow. Yes. As we've discussed earlier today, there's that 3/4 point where I think it stinks. We're at that point now. And if I could just power through, get a couple more shadows on there, I'll go back to liking it. But right now, I get discouraged. It will all work out. And now the brush is running out of ink, which is a good time to get to your gray tones. Instead of refilling the brush, I'm just putting in some shades. Give it some nice variety. People have differing opinions on this, but I like a variety to the strokes. I don't like everything to be the same width and length, so I try to put some fat things and some skinny things and some sharp things and some blurry things, and keeps it interesting. You know, some of the stuff I'll put a lot of detail in, like I'll put a lot of detail in the face, but then the shoes maybe I'll just kind of do them rough, and it keeps people interested, in my opinion. Again, other guys like Brian Bolin just like to do the exact same stroke over and over again. Jack Abel had a tendency to do the same stroke over and over again. I liked Jack Abel. I thought he was good. This is where I'm trying to give it a little, I don't even know what you say, a little weight to the punctuation here. But the challenge is, like I say, this is an amazingly bad brush. Let's see if I can get it into focus. It is not a pointy brush. Which I like. Again, I want it to have some kind of life to it. You don't want it to. You don't want to look. The thing is, if you're you put too tight, it just looks computer generated, even when it's not. It's a funny thing. Okay. Okay. There we go. Now it's starting to turn black. More manic. Open the mouth. Question marks. I don't know. Whenever I do a design a costume, I always consider the fact that I'm going to have to draw it 500 times for any project, and so I try to avoid things like having lots of details on this. The second Riddler I've seen. Is there something going on with him? Oh, it was a request. Oh, turn your phone off, kids. That was my phone. I don't know where it is. But yeah, yeah. So maybe there is something going on. Maybe he's in the TV show or something, or maybe he's in the new Batman comic. I know there's some new Batman comics everybody's talking about, which I haven't seen. What's the one where he's big and beefy that everybody likes? I lost my ink for a moment. Okay. Oh, yeah. Be drawing a straight line with no ruler trick. Thank you. Don't try that at home. Jim Shooter used to get so mad at me for never using a ruler. I told Mal Williamson didn't use a ruler. Here we go. This is where I start obliterating things that I actually kind of liked, but they need to be in shadow. Shadow. Bye-bye. Almost there. More black. Oh, we forgot about this hand. Gloves. More. That's probably why some guys drop the question marks. Tougher to do over. I think you're right. I think that definitely for animation. When I did Plastic Man, the first thing I did was I got rid of one of the stripes on his costume. Plastic Man used to have 4 stripes on his costume, and I gave him 3. I recommend it. And with my character designs, my trick is I usually just, when I design a character, I just give them 1 or 2 colors for their outfit. Give a guy like a black pants and a black shirt, or because it's really hard to remember. If I'm doing something like the Avengers, I'm always screwing it up. I can't remember. I'll put Thor's boots on Captain America and Captain America's glove on Iron Man. I get all mixed up. Or color it wrong. Can't remember which guy's got the red boots and which guy has the blue boots. I'm gonna. Here we go. I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it. Cover it all up. Take another pass. I'm gonna turn that phone off. It's killing me. Hold on. There. I never even use that phone. Almost done. More black, more black. Black, 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 black. It just gets more and more shadowy. More and more details get eliminated as I progress. I'm looking. All right, I feel good about that. Oh, no, he has a thumb. clean the brush. My cheap ass brush, my 10-cent brush. And dry it on my soundproof wall. All right. Here is the last part, the whiteout. That's a fun part. Oh, and because the smart thing to do, I'm going to put the top on my ink. Because again, I forget that there's ink. Even though I've been doing this for 40 years, I, for some reason, forget that I have an open bottle of ink next to me, even though I always have an open bottle of ink next to me, and then I knock it over. So this way, when I knock it over, it'll have a cap on it. Let's start cleaning this up. Those who just showed up, this is a paint pen full of paint. They have to mix the paint. It's like the spray cans where you have to mix it up with the ball. And then so you got to mix the paint up, and then it should come out smoothly. It's a little goopy sometimes. Just testing it here. Yes! Paint is coming out. It's probably where some guys should be. Okay, I'm all caught up. Okay. Yeah. Is correct. Let's see. Trying to remember the Joker story I read, the Riddler story I read when I was a kid about his origin. He had a very pointy chin. I'm trying to remember who drew it. In my head, it feels like Carmine Infantino. You know, he'd like to give people pointy chins. Okay, now I'm just goofing around. Now I'm just wasting time. I don't know if anybody else has the problem. They don't like to stop working on something. Said I was going to fix this. There we go. More definition. I think I'm done. Here, that. I feel done. Okay. I think it's done. I'm going to sign it. Again, there's a temptation to completely overwork it just because I don't want to quit. Here's my pen. Good job. Thank you. I feel like a 5-year-old. Good boy. Good job. I did it. Why did I do? Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. Looks good. All right. I feel good about it. I'm not hitting this microphone too much. I just noticed I'm tapping it too much. So I hope it's not popping all over the place. All right. Now I have to figure out how to run it again. Give me a second. While I figure out how to run it, take a look. Feel free to look at it while I figure this out. Give me a second. Let me just make sure I didn't list 2 of them. 8 by 10. Oh, look at that. I already did it. Look at that. Is that correct? 8.5 by 11. Yes. I'm prepared. Rarely. All right. Start auction. I'm starting the auction. If anybody's interested, let's see what happens. So if anybody wants this fine Riddler, it is now being auctioned. Enjoy. Oh, look, somebody bid. All right. So far, so good. Meanwhile, while we're doing that, I will look for mistakes. See what has to be changed. So far, I like it. Yeah, I think it holds up. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, it didn't go. Oh, nobody bought it. Okay, well, thanks anyway. All right, I'm gonna put this over here. Well, I think I'm done for the day, unless anybody has a question or has a request or wants me to run anything that's here. Or I will go and I will come back maybe Saturday. Thursday, I'm definitely coming back. I'm definitely coming back on Thursday. I might come back this weekend. Tomorrow is my kid's birthday, so I'm not coming back tomorrow. I don't like looking at a blank screen. There's the Riddler again. Thank you for the stream, and I think we're good. I think that was everybody, right? Yes. I'm just making sure I got everybody's questions answered. Everybody's questions are answered. See you next Thursday. Awesome. Thank you. Have a great night. Okay, we're done. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for coming out. I had a great time, and we will see you Thursday, definitely. This weekend, maybe. And here's the part where I figure out how to turn this off. There's a button somewhere to quit. I will locate it. Oh, there's whatnot. Shows. End show.